The year 1960 was a most extraordinary time in the history of our world. It arrived not quietly, but with a great sense of anticipation, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. This year stood as a bridge between the old world, a world recovering from great wars, a new one, a world brimming with technological marvels, profound social change. It was a time when humanity began to look upwards, towards the vast emptiness of space while also looking inwards, questioning the very structures of society. The decisions made and the events that unfolded during these 12 months would send ripples across the globe, shaping the very world we inhabit today in ways both great and small. Across the continents, a powerful current of change was flowing. The year began with a significant event in Africa. On January 1st, Cameroon gained independence from France. It marked the beginning of the Year of Africa. Across the continent, people watched and took hope. On January 2nd, Senator John F. Kennedy announced his candidacy for president. He promised a new frontier. His message resonated with many Americans. On February 1st, 4 African-American college students sat at a whites-only lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina. They were refused service but stayed peacefully seated. The Greensboro sit-in sparked a nationwide movement. Also in February, France conducted its first atomic bomb test in the Sahara Desert. The struggle for civil rights in southern Africa took a tragic turn in March. On March 21st in the township of Sharpeville, South Africa, a large crowd gathered to protest against the country's oppressive pass laws. Police opened fire on the unarmed crowd, killing 69 people and injuring many more. The Sharpeville massacre sent shockwaves around the world. In the world of music, a new king was crowned, solidifying his reign. In March 1960, Elvis Presley returned to the United States after completing his military service in Germany. He quickly went back to the recording studio. April saw the dream of space exploration take another small but significant step forward. May 1960 brought a dramatic escalation in the Cold War. On May 1st, an American U-2 spy plane was shot down deep inside the Soviet Union. The United States initially claimed it was a weather research aircraft that had gone off course. However, the Soviet leader, Nikita Khrushchev, soon revealed that the pilot, Francis Gary Powers, had been captured alive. He also showed the world the wreckage of the plane, complete with its spying equipment. It shattered a planned peace summit between the superpowers and deeply embarrassed the United States on the world stage. At a laboratory in California, physicist Theodore Maiman successfully operated the very first laser. He used a ruby crystal to produce a pure, intense beam of red light. It was often described as a solution looking for a problem. From playing music on compact discs and performing delicate eye surgery to carrying information across oceans in fiber-optic cables, the laser would become one of the most important and versatile technologies of the 20th century. On June 30th, the vast territory of the Belgian Congo became an independent nation, the Republic of the Congo. The new Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba delivered a fiery speech. The summer of 1960 was truly the heart of the Year of Africa. Dahomey, now Benin, Niger, Upper Volta, now Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Chad, the Central African Republic, the Republic of the Congo, Brazzaville. Each new flag raised was a powerful symbol. It represented the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with the challenges and opportunities of building a nation from the ground up. In the world of culture, a film released in August would change cinema forever. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho premiered. It horrified and fascinated audiences. The iconic shower scene with its screeching violins became one of film history's most famous moments. In August, the US launched Echo 1A, a giant metallic balloon about 30 meters in diameter placed into orbit. Radio signals, telephone calls and television could be bounced off its reflective surface. Nigeria, vast and diverse, was on the cusp of gaining independence from Great Britain in October. In September, the world of sports provided a global stage in the ancient city of Rome. The 1960 Summer Olympics were held there, bringing together athletes from across the globe. It was in Rome that a young boxer named Cassius Clay first captured international attention by winning a gold medal. Another remarkable story was that of a baby Bakila from Ethiopia, who won the marathon while running barefoot through the streets of Rome. The United Nations in New York became the center of world politics in September. It was attended by many world leaders. One memorable moment, Khrushchev reportedly banged his shoe on his desk during a debate. On October 1st, Nigeria celebrated its independence from Great Britain. The capital, Lagos, overflowed with joyous celebrations and hope. On October 26th, the fourth and final televised debate took place. Many felt the young, confident Kennedy performed better on television than the more experienced but tired-looking Nixon. November was dominated by one of the closest and most watched presidential elections in American history. On November 8th, the people of the United States went to the polls to choose their next leader. The contest between John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon was incredibly tight. The final result was not clear until the early hours of the next morning. In the end, Kennedy won by one of the narrowest margins ever in a U.S. presidential election. At just 43 years old, he would be the youngest man ever elected to the presidency. He was the first Roman Catholic to be elected president, overcoming long-standing prejudice in American society. His campaign theme of a new frontier promised a new era of energy, idealism, action. He promised to take a more active and assertive approach to the Cold War. He also wanted to promote American ideals abroad through new initiatives like the Peace Corps, which would send young American volunteers to help developing nations. Leaders in allied nations and rival nations wondered what this new, young American leader would mean for global affairs. As the year drew to a close, events were unfolding in Southeast Asia. On December 20th, the National Liberation Front, or NLF, was officially formed in South Vietnam. Opponents of the NLF would call it the Viet Cong. The crisis in the newly independent Congo continued to deepen. Following a military coup in September, the democratically elected Prime Minister, Patrice Lumumba, was placed under house arrest. In early December, he attempted to escape, but was captured and imprisoned. In December, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, was formed. Its goal was to promote economic growth and free trade among its members. His capture was a devastating blow to his supporters and to the hopes for a stable, unified Congo. Cold War powers all involved. As 1960 ended, the world looked very different than it had just 12 months earlier. The year 1960 was far more than just a collection of 12 months on a calendar. It was a pivotal moment, a turning point where the currents of history shifted direction. The Year of Africa was perhaps the most visible legacy. The birth of so many new nations was a triumph for the principle of self-determination. The election of John F. Kennedy brought a new style and energy to global politics. The first weather satellite was the beginning of a system that now allows us to monitor our planet's climate with incredible detail, and the invention of the laser, once an obscure scientific curiosity, is now woven into the very fabric of our daily lives. In looking back, we can see 1960 as a year of profound beginnings. It was the beginning of social changes, like the sit-in movement, and the beginning of conflicts that would tragically define the years to come. The planet in 1960 was a world in motion, a place of extraordinary hope, deep-seated tension, and incredible change. It truly was a year that laid the foundations for the world we now inhabit.